If you're over 50 and you've noticed your interest in intimacy quietly fading, you might be blaming age, stress, or hormones. But what if I told you that 5 everyday foods sitting in your kitchen right now could be silently draining your libido without you realizing it? I'm going to walk you through exactly which foods are sabotaging your sex drive, why they hit harder after 60, and what you can do today to protect your vitality and reclaim that spark. This isn't about deprivation or complicated diets. It's about making smarter swaps that work with your body, not against it, especially when metabolism, circulation, and hormone balance start shifting in ways that demand more attention. Stay with me because by the end of this conversation, you'll have a clear action plan that fits your real life, and you'll understand why your doctor might never have connected these dots for you. Let's start with something most of us don't think twice about: mint. Yes, that refreshing herb you toss into your tea, chew as gum, or enjoy in desserts. Menthol, the active compound in mint, has been shown in studies to lower testosterone levels, and testosterone isn't just a male hormone. Women need it too for desire, energy, and arousal. After 50, testosterone production naturally declines in both men and women, so anything that suppresses it further can tip the balance into noticeable symptoms like reduced libido, fatigue, and even difficulty with arousal. Mint tea before bed might feel soothing, but if you're drinking it daily, especially multiple cups, you could be unknowingly contributing to a hormonal dip. The research on this comes from animal studies and some human observations, and while moderate mint use isn't dangerous, chronic high intake is where the problem lies. If you love mint, try cutting back to occasional use rather than daily. Swap your mint tea for ginger tea or chamomile, both of which support circulation and relaxation without affecting testosterone. And if you're using mint-flavored toothpaste or mouthwash, don't panic. The exposure there is minimal and rinsed away. It's the ingestion over time that matters. One practical step you can take today is to look at your pantry and fridge. Count how many mint products you consume in a week. If it's more than 3 or 4 servings, dial it back and notice how you feel over the next month. Keep a simple journal, just a few words each day about energy and interest levels. Patterns will emerge. Now let's talk about licorice, and I'm not just talking about the candy. Real licorice root, used in teas, supplements, and some natural remedies, contains glycyrrhizin, a compound that directly lowers testosterone. There are studies showing that men who consumed licorice root regularly saw measurable drops in testosterone within a week. For women, the effect can blunt both desire and responsiveness. Licorice is often marketed for digestive health, adrenal support, or soothing sore throats. So many people over 50 turn to it without realizing the sexual side effect. If you're taking licorice root in any form, check the label. If it says deglycyrrhizinated licorice or DGL, that's safer because the active compound that affects hormones has been removed. But whole licorice root should be used sparingly, if at all. If you're using it for digestive issues, talk to your doctor about alternatives like slippery elm, marshmallow root, or probiotics. If it's for adrenal fatigue, consider ashwagandha or rhodiola, both of which can support stress without harming libido. The takeaway here is simple. Read labels, especially on herbal teas and supplements. If licorice or licorice root is in the top 3 ingredients, that's a red flag. Replace it with something that gives you the same benefit without the hormonal trade-off. And if you've been using licorice regularly and your desire has dropped, try stopping it for 4 to 6 weeks and see if things improve. Don't expect overnight results. Hormones take time to rebalance. Next up is soy, and this one is controversial because soy isn't inherently bad. In fact, moderate soy intake has cardiovascular benefits, especially for women after menopause. But here's the catch. Soy contains phytoestrogens, plant compounds that mimic estrogen in the body. For some people, especially men, high soy intake can shift the estrogen to testosterone ratio in a way that reduces libido. We're talking about processed soy products eaten daily, things like soy protein, isolate in shakes, soy milk, tofu burgers, soy-based meat substitutes. A serving of edamame or a few tablespoons of miso soup a couple of times a week isn't the problem. It's when soy becomes your primary protein source day after day that hormonal effects can accumulate. Studies show mixed results, but the concern is real enough that if your sex drive has tanked and you're consuming soy heavily, it's worth experimenting. Try reducing soy for 30 days. Replace soy milk with almond milk, oat milk, or coconut milk. Swap tofu for lean poultry, fish, eggs, or legumes like lentils and chickpeas. Track how you feel. If you notice improvement, you found a personalized trigger. If nothing changes, soy probably wasn't your issue, and you can reintroduce it without worry. Remember, nutrition is individual. What affects one person might not affect another, especially with the hormonal variability that comes after 50. The goal is to test and observe, not to demonize any single food. Now we come to alcohol, and I know this one stings, because a glass of wine or a cocktail is often part of social connection and relaxation. But alcohol is a central nervous system depressant, and it directly impairs sexual function in multiple ways. It reduces testosterone production, disrupts sleep quality, impairs blood flow, and numbs nerve sensitivity. After 50, your liver metabolizes alcohol more slowly, and the cumulative effects hit harder. You might have been able to drink 2 glasses of wine in your 30s without issue, but now those same 2 glasses can leave you feeling sluggish, dehydrated, and uninterested the next day. Studies consistently show that chronic alcohol use, even moderate amounts like 1 to 2 drinks daily, correlates with erectile dysfunction in men and reduced arousal and lubrication in women. The mechanism is vascular. Alcohol constricts blood vessels and reduces nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for healthy blood flow to sexual organs. If you're over 60 and noticing changes, cutting back on alcohol is one of the fastest levers you can pull. Try limiting yourself to 2 to 3 drinks per week instead of daily. Choose lower alcohol options, like a spritzer, instead of a full glass of wine. Stay hydrated, 1 glass of water for every alcoholic drink. And pay attention to timing. Alcohol right before intimacy is particularly problematic because it's actively working against arousal in real time. If you find social situations difficult without a drink, practice ordering a sparkling water with lime or a mocktail. Most people won't even notice, and you'll wake up the next day feeling sharper and more vital. If you're drinking to manage stress or sleep, that's a separate issue that needs addressing, possibly with a therapist or your doctor, because using alcohol as a crutch creates more problems than it solves, especially sexually. The 5th food might surprise you. It's not exotic or trendy. It's processed and fried foods, and this category is huge. French fries, fried chicken, donuts, packaged snacks, fast food burgers, processed meats like hot dogs and bacon, frozen dinners loaded with preservatives. These foods do 3 things that destroy libido. First, they clog your arteries. Sexual function depends on blood flow, and after 50, your vascular system is more vulnerable to plaque buildup. Trans fats and excessive saturated fats from fried and processed foods accelerate atherosclerosis, reducing circulation everywhere, including to your sexual organs. Second, these foods spike inflammation. Chronic inflammation interferes with hormone production and nerve signaling, both critical for desire and arousal. Third, they mess with your gut microbiome, and emerging research shows that gut health directly influences mood, energy, and even testosterone levels. A diet heavy in processed foods creates a cascade of metabolic problems: weight gain, insulin resistance, fatigue, brain fog, all of which indirectly kill your sex drive. The fix here isn't perfection, it's consistency. Start by identifying your top 3 processed food habits. Maybe it's the drive-thru twice a week, the bag of chips every night, or the frozen pizza on Fridays. Pick one and replace it with a whole food option. Bake sweet potato fries instead of buying frozen ones. Grill chicken breasts instead of ordering fried. Snack on nuts or fruit instead of crackers. Each small swap reduces your toxic load and supports circulation. Within 2 to 3 weeks, most people notice better energy. And within 6 to 8 weeks, improvements in libido often follow. Remember, after 60, your body is less forgiving of dietary mistakes. You can't out-exercise a bad diet, and you can't medicate your way out of poor nutrition. Food is medicine, and every meal is either supporting your vitality or undermining it. Now let's address some common myths because misinformation around sex and aging is rampant. Myth number 1. Losing your sex drive after 60 is inevitable and irreversible. That's false. While hormones do decline, most age-related libido loss is due to modifiable factors like diet, stress, medications, and lack of physical activity. Myth number 2, testosterone replacement is the only solution. Not true. Many people see significant improvement just by cleaning up their diet, exercising, and improving sleep. Hormone therapy can help in specific cases, But it's not a magic bullet, and it comes with risks that need careful monitoring. Myth number 3, libido is all mental, so food doesn't matter. Wrong again. Your brain and body are connected. Neurotransmitters, hormones, and blood flow all depend on the nutrients you consume. If your diet is garbage, your sexual function will reflect that. And myth number 4, if you're not interested in sex, it's not a health issue. Actually, low libido can be an early warning sign of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, hormonal imbalances, or depression. It's worth investigating, not dismissing. Let me give you a quick checklist you can use at home, not to diagnose yourself, but to identify patterns and start a conversation with your doctor. First, track your diet for 1 week. Write down everything you eat and drink. Be honest. Look for patterns. Are you eating fried or processed foods daily? Are you drinking alcohol every night? Are you consuming soy, mint, or licorice regularly? Second, assess your energy levels. Do you wake up tired? Do you hit a wall in the afternoon? Low energy and low libido often go hand in hand. Third, check your medications. Many common drugs for blood pressure, depression, and allergies can reduce libido. Don't stop anything without talking to your doctor, but ask if there are alternatives. Fourth, evaluate your stress and sleep. Chronic stress crushes testosterone and cortisol imbalances wreck hormones. If you're sleeping less than 7 hours a night, that alone can tank your sex drive. Fifth, consider your relationship. Sometimes low libido isn't physical, it's relational. Communication, intimacy, and emotional connection matter. If that's the issue, consider couples counseling. And sixth, notice circulation. Cold hands and feet, numbness, or tingling can signal poor blood flow, which directly affects sexual function. Bring this up with your doctor. Here's what you can do starting today. Swap your morning mint tea for ginger or green tea. Check your supplements and teas for licorice root and replace it if necessary. Reduce soy-based processed foods if you're eating them daily. Limit alcohol to 2 to 3 times a week and never right before intimacy. Replace one processed meal this week with a home-cooked option focused on lean protein, vegetables, and healthy fats. Drink more water, aim for 8 glasses a day, because dehydration affects blood volume and circulation. Add a 15-minute walk after dinner. Movement improves circulation, mood, and hormone balance. And finally, schedule a checkup. Get your testosterone, thyroid, vitamin D, and blood sugar checked. These are all common culprits in libido loss after 50, and they're all treatable. Now, let me be clear about when to seek urgent care. If you experience sudden, complete loss of sexual function alongside chest pain, shortness of breath, dizziness, or severe fatigue, that could signal a cardiovascular event. Go to the emergency room. If you notice sudden numbness in your genital area or loss of bladder control, that could be a neurological emergency. Don't wait. If you're having thoughts of self-harm or severe depression, reach out immediately to a mental health crisis line or go to the ER. These are rare, but they're real, and they require immediate attention. Before we wrap, I need to give you the standard but important disclaimer. Everything I've shared here is educational information based on clinical evidence and experience. It is not personalized medical advice and does not replace a consultation with your own healthcare provider. Your situation is unique. Your medications, your health history, your risk factors, all of these need individualized assessment. Use this information as a starting point for a conversation with your doctor, not as a substitute for professional care. Let's bring this home. You now know that mint, licorice, excessive soy, alcohol, and processed fried foods can quietly sabotage your sex drive, especially after 60, when your body is less resilient to dietary insults. You understand the mechanisms: hormonal disruption, poor circulation, inflammation, and you have a clear action plan with practical swaps you can implement immediately. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. One better choice today leads to another tomorrow, and within weeks you'll start to feel the difference: more energy, better mood, and yes, renewed interest in intimacy. Your body is capable of remarkable recovery when you give it the right fuel and remove the obstacles. Age is not a sentence, it's just a new chapter, and you get to write it. If this resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because I'm releasing a follow-up video next week on the 5 best foods that naturally boost libido after 60. You've learned what to avoid. Now it's time to learn what to embrace. And remember, if you're dealing with specific symptoms or concerns, book an appointment with your doctor. Don't suffer in silence, and don't assume it's just age. Most of the time, there's something actionable you can do. And it starts with understanding your body and advocating for yourself. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.